Welcome to Western New York at Work, brought to you by the Kaizen Institute. Thriving in Western New York, a business perspective. On today's show, we have Stephen Tucker, President and CEO of the Northland Workforce Training Center.
Good morning, Buffalo, and welcome to another episode of Western New York at Work with Dale Martin and Chris Stoddard. And as we talk each and every month, we're thriving in Western New York, but we're doing it with a taste of manufacturing. And I'd just like to say, Chris, welcome back to today's show.
Thank you, Dale. Glad to be back.
Yes. So, Chris, we have a very special guest with us today. Would you like to introduce our guest?
I would. I'm very excited to introduce our guest. Very happy to be here at the Northland Workforce Training Center and introduce Stephen Tucker, the President and CEO of Northland Workforce Training Center. Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you guys for having me, and thank you for doing your show focused on manufacturing.
Yes. Stephen, bring us up to speed. What are the services that you're providing for anyone that's not familiar with the type of work that you do here at the Northland Workforce Training Center?
So the Northland Workforce Training Center is the signature workforce initiative under Governor Cuomo's Buffalo Billion. We are designed to train and prepare local residents for outstanding careers in advanced manufacturing and energy, mainly due to retirements. Both of those industry sectors have an aging workforce and a non-existent pipeline. For some reason, young people are just not interested or aware of the many opportunities we have in advanced manufacturing and energy right here in Western New York.
Now, you could have been anywhere in Buffalo, New York, or Western New York for that matter, but you chose a centralized location in the inner city. Why was that the case?
Well, this was actually a part of the vision of Mayor Byron Brown. The place where we're located at 683 Northland Avenue, the Northland Beltline campus used to be an industrial area that used to employ upwards to 5,000 individuals back in its heyday. We had great companies like Niagara Machine and Tool, Clearing Niagara, Otis Elevator, the Hudai plant. We also had Curtis Wright as well as American Axle. But like many other Rust Belt cities in the 70s and 80s, those companies closed and the jobs dried up. And the area kind of deteriorated. The east side of Buffalo suffered years of disinvestment. So when there was an opportunity for the state to make a significant investment, Mayor Byron Brown advocated with Governor Cuomo to invest on the east side of Buffalo. And now we have a brand new $65 million renovated facility with outstanding equipment designed to train and prepare local residents for those outstanding careers in manufacturing and energy.
Okay. And with that being said, I would imagine you have some very strategic key partners. Can you speak to any of those partnerships, whether it be at the academic level or otherwise?
Yes, so our official name is the Economic Development Group, doing business as Northland Workforce Training Center. The Economic Development Group is a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose founding members include the Buffalo Urban League, Catholic Charities, as well as Goodwill. In addition to those three social service agencies, we also partner with the Buffalo Niagara Manufacturing Alliance. So we are an industry-led sector partnership with those community-based organizations providing the education and training, and we partner with two SUNY educational institutions. Those SUNY educational institutions include SUNY Erie Community College as well as Alfred State College. So you have the educational providers, you have the social service entities, you also have input from industry, the Buffalo Niagara Manufacturing Alliance, and now we have a well-rounded approach, holistic approach to build that pipeline of qualified workers to fill these open positions and opportunities.
Fantastic.
And that brings up a point. What has been the history of the center in terms of placement? What have you seen in terms of successes in placing workers into the workforce?
So we've only been around since 2018, so we have a small sample size. Since our inception, we've enrolled over 360 individuals. We've had 92 individuals actually graduate from their program, and we've placed 81% of those graduates into job opportunities, making at least average salaries of $36,000 a year. We have 50% minority representation, about 8% female representation, so we're above industry standards in terms of our diversity. and we're going to start to graduate higher percentages and numbers of our students as we move into year 3, 4, and 5.
And what are some of the programming that you provide to the students in terms of the types of training that they are, learning and pursuing?
They're all technical programs at this point, and that was really intentional. We're projecting the need to fill about 20,000 job openings in the next 5 to 10 years in the advanced manufacturing and energy sector because there's a skills gap and a shortage of qualified candidates. So the programs that we selected, one is a 1-year certificate program, mechatronics. It's taught by SUNY Erie Community College. We currently have about 70 mechatronic technicians in that program. And we have 3 2-year associate's degree programs taught by SUNY Alfred State. Those programs include welding, machine tool technology, and electricians.
Okay, great. Chris, I want to kind of go back to something that Stephen said a moment ago. He talked about the partnership. Okay, if you could share with our viewers the partnering that the Kaizen Institute brings to the community and businesses alike throughout Western New York.
I think we share similar visions, similar goals, is to bring value to the community, to bring value to business within the local community, and be part of that prosperous, movement forward, that pathway forward. The show is thriving in Western New York, and we want to focus on how we can do more with, essentially with what we have, and it means investing in the workforce. It's so critical to spend time with the workforce to develop those skills, whether they be technical skills as they receive here, or in our case, problem-solving skills, the ability to recognize and solve small problems on a daily basis, those that affect them, those that they have a sphere of influence or control over, to improve their daily work. And so I see very, very similar approach is that it's all about improving that work experience, for the individual.
With that being said, what would you say is the climate of manufacturing here locally?
It's thriving. We were at a point where there was over 65,000 jobs focused in manufacturing. The third largest industry sector as far as GDP in Western New York. COVID impacted that somewhat. We have seen some jobs go away, some downsizing. However, there's still a ton of opportunities. Right now, according to the Buffalo Niagara Manufacturing Alliance, which is the industry association consisting of 200 small, medium, and large-size employers here in Western New York, they have 3,000 job openings that they can't fill right now. Job openings for machinists, for welders, for maintenance technicians, for electricians. And these jobs offer family sustainable wages. Average salary in the advanced manufacturing on the production floor is about $48,000 a year. However, if an individual gets education and experience, they can be making upwards to $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year. So those job opportunities are still available and still there. And that's the whole purpose of the Northland Workforce Training Center, building a pipeline so that the industry sectors can have a qualified workforce. Consistent
with that, Stephen, then, looking forward 5 to 10 years, how do you see the role that Northland plays in the community and within Western New York? How do you see that evolving, changing, improving, going forward? I think right now we've done a decent job of raising awareness about the opportunities. We've done a great job of recruiting and enrolling and supporting students and getting students to the finish line. Right now across the country, the community college completion rate is less than 30%. Our completion rate in 2 years is 60%. So it's double the national average. I mentioned our diversity, 50% minority representation, 8% female representation, which is, again, double what those industry sectors are seeing. So that's the first component. But the second component, now that we are creating and building a pipeline of qualified, diverse talent, how can we work with business and industry to make sure that they can recruit, retain, and help that talent advance to create those diverse and inclusive workplaces so that not only can the talent advance and grow, but these businesses can advance and grow as well.
And I would add to that, for someone who's watching today's show that has a son or daughter that's looking for a career opportunity, looking for the right training, but don't have a clue or unsure where to start, how would you address that?
I would tell them to go to our website. Our website is www.northlandwtc.org. We have videos on our website. We have occupational profiles on our website. And I want to make a statement because my background is in education and training, but career development. And within career development, there's a theory. It's called career development theory. I never heard of it until I became doing what I'm doing now. But career development theory states that people will be successful in careers that matches their skills, their interests, their personalities, and their work values. That's critically important. So as a career development professional, my number one job is to educate you on the opportunity so that you can make an informed decision on which type of career to pursue. Then based off of that information, if you believe that technical training or advanced manufacturing or energy is a great career for you, then we can help you develop a career plan to enter into that arena.
We're going to take a very short break. Don't go anywhere. And when we come back, we'll have more great conversation with Mr. Stephen Tucker. Western New York at Work is brought to you by our key business partners and many business professionals. Bocce's Club Pizza, Staff Buffalo, Buffalo Healthy Living, CAI, Hope Buffalo, Embassy Suites, 716 Limousine.
Get it. Get it.
Get it.
Get it. Get it.
Get it, get it.
Is she gonna get it, Daddy?
She'll get it.
Get it. Get it.
When you bring home a Goodwill find, you give your whole town a reason to celebrate because you're also funding local job training and placement programs in tech, healthcare, and more. Goodwill. Bring good home.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Welcome back to Western New York at Work.
And once again, some of those training programs, such as energy, and there was another one you mentioned, mechatronics?
Yes. Yeah, so mechatronics is basically a fancy name for people who understand mechanical capability, electrical, electronics, pneumatics, hydraulics. All of those systems, when they're integrated, leads to automation and robotics.
Yeah.
So a mechatronics technician is one of the highest in-demand occupations here in Western New York. We're graduating mechatronics students in after 8 months, and many of them are graduating making $50,000 a year, which is unheard of. This is a very, very high demand occupation, highly sought after. We're also partnering with some companies to upskill some of their incumbent workers with the maintenance technician mechatronics certificate. So this is the type of training that we want to offer here at the Northland Workforce Training Center.
I'm glad to hear that. Working in the field, it is a gap. You hear it a lot. You know, robotics coming into manufacturing, whether it be small scale, large scale robotics, and the skill set doesn't exist within the workforce. And it's great to hear that that's the approach taken here. That's good.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
Which brings me to another question. How do you assess which program is the best program for that particular individual? Is there an assessment, or how do you determine what career path, academic or education path to point them in the direction of?
So when we do our individual assessments with prospective students, and we cover the academics, we also, and when I'm saying academics, literacy and numeracy, because you have to have basic foundational math skills, basic writing, basic reading skills, and if you don't have those skills, we can help you level those skills up. But once we do that and we do the occupational profiles, which is basically an analysis of what the day-to-day activities are in that particular arena or that discipline, students can then self-select what they would choose to do. Me personally, if I had to choose a program at the training center, it would be for machinist, because a machinist is someone who can manufacture a specific component or part from a print, a high precise component that's put into the aerospace industry or the medical device industry or the automotive industry, right? That's very technical. However, that program, we have the least amount of students enrolled in it. And I believe it's because people don't know what it is. When you say machinist, people are like, what's a machinist? But if you say welder, they know that's joining metals together. If you say electrician, they know that that's either, doing something with wiring or maintaining machines or something like that. But me personally, I think I would love to learn how to become a machinist, because it really leads and directs to, or directly to engineering. And I think that would be something that would be interesting for me.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk a lot about, when we work with our client base, but the voice of the customer. So you have at least 2 customers, direct customers.
Yes.
So you have your students and those businesses that hire those students.
Correct.
You also have key stakeholders that are part of what you do here. During the pandemic, there's been a lot of change that is necessary as a result of the pandemic. What are you hearing from your customer base in terms of the need for change within the organization itself?
What's interesting, students choose Northland because of our hands-on pedagogy. So Northland, we focus on the lab experience. So instead of spending 80% of your time in a classroom and 20% of your time in a lab applying what you learn, you spend 20% in the classroom learning theory and 80% applying what you learn. So it's more of a hands-on pedagogy. And when we were forced to switch to distance learning, we lost some students over that. They couldn't make that transition. So listening to the voice of your customer, what we were able to do once we reopened in phase 4 back in August, we were able to reconnect with those students so they can complete their hands-on lab work. So we listen to our customers all the time. Just the fact of framing students as a customer is a paradigm shift, especially for the educational institutions.
Sure.
Because most educational institutions refer to students as students, right? And not a customer, even though they are a customer because they're paying a tuition for that education. So that was something that we really wanted to focus on here. How do we develop a student-focused experience that supports our students, but also make sure we're listening and following the lead of business and industry to make sure the training that we are providing is actually in demand by business and industry.
Excellent.
And I'm going to kind of go back to a question you asked, Chris, in terms of what does the future look like? And as we start to look at 2021, what are some of the goals and, I guess, expectations and objectives you would like to start to move in a direction of in 2021?
In 2021, we want to start to deploy more earn and learn models, more apprenticeship models. When you're a student or you're a working adult, and you may have a family, you have to earn an income. The challenge is the skill set that you have doesn't allow you to earn the type of income that you want because it's not in demand. So apprenticeships are an earn and learn model where students are going to school, they're simultaneously working on the job that aligns with their school, they receive payment for their work, they're gaining experience, and after 2, 3, 4 years, they're a certified journey person in whatever discipline it is. So we really want to focus on launching apprenticeship programs as well as potentially enter into the contract manufacturing business. In contract manufacturing, we envision procuring contracts with certain manufacturing companies, not to compete with other companies, but to supplement and enhance the offerings right now in Western New York. And this will allow us to provide our students with hands-on experience so they can graduate with actual hands-on experience from working in a lab. So those are 2 emerging initiatives that we look forward to rolling out in 2021.
And that's a different dynamic when you have deadlines. when you have quality specs that have to be met, when you get reject product coming back. That's the real world, right?
Yes.
That's the real world experience that you can't learn any other way than having gone into the workforce. So, it's really exciting.
And one of the things that we talked about doing is setting it up almost like an entrepreneurship type of opportunity, because we have very little diversity in ownership and leadership in the manufacturing sector, because minorities, they either don't have the wealth or the experience or the capital, the equipment to enter into that arena, right? But if we can start to build that early on and plant that entrepreneurship seed while they're at school at Northland, we believe we can start to build a pipeline for helping manufacturing develop more diverse owners and leaders of companies as well.
Fantastic. Well, I'll tell you, we can't thank you enough for being a part of today's conversation. Is there anything that we want to make sure that our viewers are aware of that we haven't discussed at this point?
Yes. First, I would like to thank you for having me on your show. This is my second time. I've been here 3 years, and West New York has been nothing but tremendous and welcoming to me and my family, and you've been a big part of that. I do want to communicate to the listening audience that we are open. We currently have 257 students. We're actively recruiting for our spring semester. We're going to add an additional 70 to 90 students in the spring semester, which will put us over 300, which is our goal. We have an 80% completion goal, as well as a 75% job placement goal. But my personal goal is that any student who completes a program at Northland either spends a year with us or 2 years with us. We are obligated to help that person land the type of career that they want. So my personal goal is 100%.
Right. Well, we're certainly glad to be a part of the conversation. We wish you nothing but continued success. And
Absolutely.
Chris, are there any final thoughts or questions that you...
No, just I would echo that. I think that this program, from someone who works in the field and listens to the gaps, sees the gaps, I think this is a critical need. It's going to plug a hole that does exist. With 3,000 openings in Western New York, I think that's a hole that needs to be filled. And I'm excited for Northland and what Northland does. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity to be part of adding value to the local market and that employee base that can come in and get the skills that are necessary and then add value to their life. I think it's wonderful. I think what Northland's doing is wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
And for anyone that's looking to gain more information and find out more about Kaizen Institute, what information do we want to make sure that we share?
Well, I think that, if you want to find out more about Kaizen Institute, you can find us at kaizen.com. You can contact us locally at us-ny@kaizen.com to learn more about what we do and how we support businesses here in New York State. As I mentioned in our first episode, Buffalo's home by choice, and I look forward to getting to know businesses and people within the local community.
Buffalo, thank you so much for tuning in to Western New York at Work with Dale Martin and Chris Stoddard. And Chris, as we want to end today's show, the thriving, could you share that tagline once again?
Thriving in Western New York, a business perspective.
Okay, you heard it first right here on Western New York at Work. Have a great day, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Western New York at Work is brought to you by our key business partners and many business professionals.
Bocce's Club Pizza, Staff Buffalo, Buffalo Healthy Living, CAI, Hope Buffalo, Embassy Suites, 716 Limousine.
This is a really, truly competitive advantage for our region, the Northland Workforce Training Center. We have a goal of enrolling and graduating between 300 to 400 students every year in advanced manufacturing energy. We're able to provide customized training programs for incoming companies. We're able to modify our curriculum based on their input, as well as allow them to have influence on not only the curriculum, but the equipment that we purchase and that we train our workers on. So we really believe that the Northland Workforce Training Center is a game changer for our region.
Welcome back to Western New York at Work with Dale Martin and Chris Stoddard. And for today's episode, we have another special guest. We have Mr. Jason Gordon, who's the Director of Client Operations with Remedy. Jason, welcome to today's show.
Thanks very much for having me.
Okay.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, so we're here, we've been talking to Stephen here at Northland, and we were introduced to you recently. Tell us a little bit about Remedy, the partnership you have with Northland, and maybe a little bit about how it's going.
So we started working with Northland back in March of this year. For Remedy, we are a full-service staffing firm. We provide temp to perm, permanent placement in the manufacturing sector. So literally 99% of what we do is manufacturing, and we are considered manufacturing experts. So for us, it was a great opportunity for us to partner with Northland. We've been excited about what Northland's bringing to the community and the opportunities it's providing to its students. So I think like the education the students are getting here is top notch, and the skills that they're learning and graduating with is going to help the manufacturing sector. So for us, in some cases we're helping students find work while they're going to school, maybe part-time or full-time, but some students really want to work, gain experience while they're going to school, and some really just need the money. And then we're also helping students, find employment in between semesters to gain that experience, kind of like an internship, and then ultimately our big focus is really trying to place students upon graduation.
You're in a very unique position. So, the way I look at this from an outside perspective is you have a vested interest in Northland, the student themselves, the manufacturing community, the community at large. That must give you a unique perspective.
For sure.
For anyone that's looking for career opportunities, how can they contact you?
My cell phone number is 716-491-0393. The email address is jasong@remedystaff.com, or they could go on and apply. It's remedystaff.com, and when you just apply, we'd like you to click the Northland branch. We're actually going to start to have next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to have like an open house, open interviews here at Northland from 9 to 12 on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. So we're really trying to start to promote that community aspect as well.
And I don't think it could be overstated. These are well-paying jobs. These are good jobs.
Correct.
They're solid jobs in the community with solid organizations. I don't think you can overstate that. And anyone out there that's looking for a really prosperous career, this is a great opportunity for them.
The one thing I'll say is that we're excited about is that because we have a lot of these good relationships, it's just not about, okay, we're going to send the resume and hopefully get an interview. We can speak on behalf of these students. We get to know them, so then we can have additional conversations with these employers about the type of person they are, or maybe something the area of interest. And so that really helps, I think, for us to be able to advocate for the students.
More of this. That's my closing statement. More of this. We need more of this.
Yes, I agree. I echo what Chris said, and we certainly like to have you back at a future date to talk and hear more about the successes that you've been having and the unique partnership that you have, not only with the Northland Avenue Workforce Training Center, but the many companies that you work with.
Absolutely. We'll welcome the opportunity.
Okay, fantastic.